Okay, so this is the Unit 10 review over conic sections, numbers 1 through 4. And so for numbers 1 through 4, really all we're doing here is just going ahead and finding the distance and midpoint between 2 points. So pretty much review of stuff that has been covered in Algebra 1, 2, but it's a good refresher nonetheless. So for number 1, we've got -8, -4, and 0, 0. And of course the distance formula is the square root of the difference in the x values, so x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. We take the square root of that whole thing. So we'll label our points, and we'll label them x1, y1, and x2, y2. Okay, so for number 1, all it is basically just plug and chug. So we have x2, which is 0, minus x1, which is -8. Now we have to be careful to keep track of our negatives and positives. And then plus y2, which is 0, minus -4 squared. So we'll simplify, reduce as we go. 0 minus -8 is actually +8, so that would be 0 plus 8, which is 8 squared, plus 0 minus 4 would be, or excuse me, 0 minus -4 would be 0 plus 4, which is 4 squared. So we continue to simplify. 8 squared is 64 plus 16. So the distance is the square root of 80. And since 80 doesn't have a perfect root, pretty much the only thing that we can do is either do a decimal approximation, which would be somewhere between, or somewhere very close to 9. So it would be probably around 8.8, 8.9, somewhere around there. Or we could actually reduce it using reducing radicals. So if we were to do it using reducing radicals, it would be 80 is 5 times 16, so that means that I could pull out a 4, and that would be 4 radical 5. Okay, so that's the distance. Midpoint, okay, midpoint is found using the formula x1 plus x2 over 2, comma, y1 plus y2 over 2. Basically, you're finding the mean of the x values over and the mean of the y values to find your midpoint. Okay, so using the same ones that we have previously, so -8 plus 0 over 2, comma, -4 plus 0 over 2. So that would be -8 over 2, comma, -4 over 2, which would give us -4, comma, -2. And so now we've found both the midpoint and the distance.